Hey you! Yes, you. Congratulations! You're about to learn the entire history of humanity, from the first microbes crawling in the mud to iPhones, rockets, and the artificial intelligence that is telling you this text right now. No boredom, no textbooks, no tediousness. Just the meat, just the action. Let's go. Imagine Earth, but not the blue beauty from NASA photos, but a boiling planet where everything is cracking, smoking, and exploding. Rocks are flying, lava is flowing, volcanoes are coughing up plasma. Not a single tree, not a drop of oxygen, and, thank all the gods, not a single mosquito. Everything is blazing, everything is chaos. Real heat, just not the beach kind. Apocalyptic. Millions of years pass, the temperature drops, the sky darkens, the first oceans appear. Lightning strikes the water, chemistry is throwing its party, molecules collide, exchange atoms, and suddenly, bam! The first life appears. Small, slimy, can barely do anything, but it already has ambitions. Microbe number 1. The hero of Season 0 of the series, humanity. These microbes multiply, mutate, try new things. They're like startups. Some survive, some disappear forever. Millions of years pass, they become more complex, grow tails, eyes, fins, and now the first fish are swimming in the ancient seas, looking at this wild world, and perhaps thinking, maybe it's cooler on land? They crawl onto the shore and a new era begins. Amphibians, reptiles, dinosaurs all try out the role of the planet's main species. Dinosaurs were real stars, giant, beautiful, with teeth bigger than your floor lamp. But then an asteroid flies into the sky and that's it, party's over. The meteorite is like a reboot button. The dinosaurs leave the stage and the world prepares for a new episode, The Adventures of Mammals.
Small, fluffy animals that used to hide in burrows now come out. They evolve, grow, get smarter. Another few dozen million years pass, and now someone jumps down from a tree, stands up straight and says, "That's it, I'm in charge now." Monkeys! Cheerful, noisy, swinging from branches, scratching each other's backs. Total harmony. But among them, a couple of weirdos decide, let's try walking upright. Maybe the view is better from up here? And so the first hominids are born. Their posture is still crooked, their brains are small, but their gaze is different, attentive. These guys pick up a stone for the first time, and at that moment, history accelerates. The first Homo habilis, handyman, invent tools, stone choppers, scrapers, hammers. They don't yet know they're doing science, but they are. The world became dangerous, but now they have an answer. Better I hit my neighbor on the head than he hits me. Hundreds of thousands of years later, Homo erectus, upright man, appears. They are travelers now. They pack their things, leave Africa, and are like, wow, it's cold here. We need to invent clothes. Thus, the first fashion is born. Primitive, of course, fur, hides, a strap from a mammoth's intestine, but still. They master new lands, new continents. They don't just survive, they learn. Their brains grow, speech forms, thoughts become longer than just eat, sleep, hit. And then the moment comes when the one who will change everything steps onto the stage. Homo sapiens. You and me. Wise humans. Although sometimes wise sounds sarcastic. We are no longer just using stones, we're creating tools. Not just accumulating experience, we're passing it on. We start telling stories. Yes, man is an animal that cannot stay silent. We tell, exaggerate, invent myths. And somewhere among the primitive shouts, the first word is born. And then, fire! A real revolution! Someone accidentally set a bush on fire, smelled the smoke, tried roasted meat, and thought, this tastes better. That's it! A new level! From that moment on, humanity is officially obsessed with barbecue. The bonfire becomes the center of the universe. Warmth, light, the smell of food, and a bunch of people discussing who's the hero today and who messed up on the hunt. Society is born around the fire. Stories are told, plans are discussed, gossip is shared. And someone takes charcoal for the first time and draws a bison on the wall. Not just a drawing, art! The first record, the first content. You could say the first like was given in a cave. And then people start thinking, maybe maybe we shouldn't run after food. Maybe let the food grow nearby. From this moment, we stop being hunters and become farmers. Agriculture appears. We plant grain, domesticate animals, build the first fences, and of course, argue with neighbors. The first conflict over territory, you stole my goat!
Generations pass. People build houses, villages, then cities. Instead of a herd, society. Instead of a fire, a town square. Crafts, trade, and the first rules appear. Don't steal, don't hit your neighbor, don't eat everything yourself. Someone becomes a chief, someone a priest, someone the one who makes beer. And so humanity officially enters the era of, I'm the boss, you're the fool. In Mesopotamia, people are already writing on clay. The Egyptians build pyramids, not because they love architecture, but because the pharaoh said, we must. China invents paper and silk. Everything is bustling. People trade, argue, marry, build canals, temples, roads. They begin to count time, observe the stars, and create calendars. For the first time, people look back and think, we've come a long way. And they are right. From mud and lightning to cities and gods. And here we are. Cities are growing, civilizations are warring, building, writing, drinking wine, and arguing whose gods are cooler. People invent writing, but use it mainly for accounting. Who owes whom wheat, and who didn't pay taxes. Yes, accounting is older than philosophy. Terrible, but true. Centuries pass. Egypt builds pyramids under the scorching sun. Some haul stones, some command, some philosophize. Is the soul immoral? In Mesopotamia, law is born, where it's written in black on clay. If you stole, get your hands chopped off. China grows, Egypt shines, and somewhere nearby, Greece is stirring, the future epicenter of ideas that the whole world will later steal. The Greeks are the real influencers of antiquity. They say, let's think. In Athens, philosophy, democracy, and theater are born. Socrates asks, who am I? Plato answers, an idea. And the people are like, when do we eat? At the same time, the future gladiators, the Romans, are training nearby. They don't philosophize, they build roads, aqueducts, and empires. Rome comes, sees, conquers. They make roads that all of Europe will later walk on. And so the ancient world shines, thinks, argues, wars. Then it falls. Empires collapse, cities burn, and Europe plunges into darkness. What will later be called the Middle Ages begins. And no, not because someone forgot to turn on the light, but because humanity really got stuck. Now crosses, crowns, plague, and the eternal struggle for the salvation of the soul. The church controls everything: education, science, love, and even thoughts. Don't think, pray. That's the slogan of the era. People live in dirt, bathe once a year, and sincerely believe that a toothache is punishment for sins.
But it's not all so gloomy. Against the backdrop of the Inquisition's bonfires, knights in shining armor, troubadours with lutes, and castles that still adorn postcards appear. Europe suffers, but dreams. Meanwhile, Asia isn't bored. China invents paper, the compass, and gunpowder. While Europe is searching for the Holy Grail, the Chinese are already making rockets. And then, boom, the end of the darkness and the world starts thinking again. The Renaissance, Florence, Venice, Leonardo da Vinci, people suddenly realize, maybe God gave us a brains for a reason. They start painting again, studying anatomy, looking at the stars, and arguing about who revolves around whom, the sun or the earth. Galileo looks through a telescope and is like, guys, the earth is not the center of the universe. And the church is like, delete your account. At this time, Columbus is looking for a way to India and finds America. Well, almost, he says. And the age of great discoveries, colonies, gold, and robbery begins. Europe suddenly realizes, there's so much empty space on the map. Let's fill it with flags, quick! Muskets, caravels, spices, sugar, slaves. The world becomes global, although no one has invented the word globalization yet. And then, the 18th century. Someone looks at a kettle of water and thinks, what if we make the steam turn wheels? Bam! The Industrial Revolution. Steam, machines, factories, smoke, noise, money. Cities grow, time accelerates. People no longer plow the land, they work in factories. Everything is boiling, everything is moving. Steam is the new god. The world changes faster than ever before. Steam locomotives whistle, the telegraph clicks, coal flies into the furnace, and someone invents the word progress for the first time. People believe technology will solve everything. Then, the 20th century. The most turbulent, the craziest. People invent cars, airplanes, radio. First, it's a blast. Everything moves, everything works, life seems like a miracle. And then, 2 world wars. Technology now kills faster than people can think. Einstein says everything is relative. People are like, let's test that. Drop a couple of atomic bombs. After the horror of war, the world finally decides enough. A new era begins. Space. The USSR launches Sputnik. Gagarin flies into the sky and says, let's go. America responds by landing on the moon.
Simultaneously, science, medicine, cinema, music, and culture develop. The world becomes faster, brighter, louder. And then, computers. Little boxes that first take up an entire room, then a desk, then a pocket. The internet connects everyone to everyone. The world turns into a giant network, a web where information moves at the speed of light. People start living online. Instead of letters, emojis. Instead of books, Google. Instead of friends, subscribers. The brain of humanity is now in the cloud, and everyone carries a miniature library, studio, bank, and casino in their pocket. And then, artificial intelligence appears. A machine that can learn, write, compose music, draw. And now they tell stories about us. We've come a long way, from sticks to rockets, from fire to code, from roasting a mammoth to discussing quantum computing. And perhaps all of this is for one moment, so that someone, someday would say, hey you, yes, you, listen to how far we've come. So yes, if you've made it to the end, congratulations. You've just lived through the entire history of humanity in a few minutes. From lightning in the primordial ocean to neural networks and smartphones. From the cry of a cave hunter to the like on the internet.